Hey everybody, it is Friday, a little after 5, maybe a lot after 5, and this is the Friday Motivation Mastermind. And we're here just a little bit late today. We had some technical difficulties, which is fine. Those things happen from time to time. And I'm Baird, and I'm here with Cam and with Bren. And what we're going to do today is just kind of have a little roundtable this nice Friday afternoon, and talk about things that we can do to improve our mindset, things we can do to focus ourselves a little bit. We're headed into the holidays, and this is a time when we typically become a little bit unfocused. We're thinking about things that, are just specifically holiday things, and a lot of the normal life things get thrown by the wayside. So let's talk about how we can stay in focus, and how once Sunday is over and Christmas is past, how we can jump right back in on Monday and keep kicking it. How's that sound, Cam?
Woo!
Okay, well, that's it, guys. So thank you for joining us on another episode of Now. Here we go. So Bren, let me ask you, let's just kind of get into the holidays, because that's what we're getting into right now. Do you typically do a big celebration for the holidays? What's your deal for that?
You know what? Like, growing up doing Christmas, I feel like when we were young, when we were kids, it was like Christmas, the holidays was like this big, thing that everybody was into. You get all these presents, all these gifts, and all these dinners. But the older I get, the less and less significant the holidays become, and kind of feels just like another week or another day. So I don't have too much planned, honestly. I mean, I have a performance tomorrow night for Christmas Eve, which will be pretty fun. I've never performed on Christmas Eve, so we'll see what kind of crowd we get. And yeah, just finishing up the last minute Christmas gifts. I'm trying to get a little creative, instead of just, spending a bunch of money. Like, try to spend a bunch of time and effort and like mind to make gifts. So that's what I've been up to. What about you, Cam? Are you geared up for Christmas? Are you ready?
Oh, dude, I'm always ready for Christmas. I'm so excited. Basically, the normal both sides of the family. Mom's side on Christmas Day, and then father's side on Christmas Eve. It's weird because both families are drastically different, so it's fun to see the contrast.
So true. So
Awesome.
true.
I think there's a gap where Christmas is not that big a deal until you maybe get married and have kids again, and then it's a real big deal again. I think there's just that gap, and you guys are kind of in that gap a little bit. Although Cam technically is still somewhat of a kid.
Yeah, I am. I'll always be a kid.
Hey, man.
I was talking about that. Well, I was right. I shouldn't say talking about it. I was writing about that in my book. I've been writing my book for the last week or so, and one of the things I talk about in there is how I never want to grow up, and how it's something I think is a positive thing, but it's also in some aspects it's been a negative thing for me, not wanting to face up to adult type of things for many years, and seeing myself not as an adult, so not on par with everybody else, even though I was. And that's one of the comments. I think Justin put that question in the website on the group page, or the Facebook group page, where he asked, "What's the biggest thing you learned? Your biggest takeaway in 2016?" And mine was that the way we think other people perceive us is far different from the way they actually do. And I had this mindset for a long time that people perceive me as not as I don't even know how to even describe it, but I didn't see myself as being able to offer as much value and as much of an adult mindset as I really have, and as much value as I really can. And that's something that I learned in the past. I would say 3 to 5 years that I am that person. That I do have that value to other people. So that's a big thing that I've been working on and have been really kind of taking to heart. So I'm glad you brought that up and talked about that. So, I think being a kid is cool. I think that's so important. I think that's one of the benefits that I have. I've got such a youthful attitude and mindset about life. I think people are always surprised when they hear my age, that like, really? Like, because I have a real youthful mindset and attitude. So, being 80 years old like I am is surprising.
Yeah, man. I feel like growing up as a teen, I was really trying to be more of an adult, like trying to grow up super fast. And then, I mean, somewhere around the age of like 21, I decided like, man, I gotta age down. Like I gotta be a kid again, because I mean, what do kids have? They have a curiosity, they have a wonder, they just have fun. They just like, they see the world at this beautiful filter of like everything is cool, everything's amazing, like everything's interesting. And that's something that I've been trying to step into more and more, because like I said, like growing up, I was always the older brother, so I felt like I had to be the adult, and there's a lot of pressure from like family members and stuff to like, set the good example, be the grown up or whatever. Even at the age of like 18, 19, I had all this pressure on me to be an adult, and then I realized that's stupid. Being an adult is stupid, and so I just like, yeah, man, I'm trying to get more into that myself, and have more fun, be more like a child, live more playfully. Cam's the playful one. I'm the serious one.
Well, dude, like we were in the band for the longest time, and I'm like that 12-year-old drummer, right? And
you're like Animal from Sesame Street.
That's what my Aunt Robin called me, no joke. But I was always kind of pressured to grow up because I was just like, I was in a band with people 5 years older than me. And when you're 12, 5 years is a long time. Like 5 years ago I was 7, at the age of 12, right? So I had to act like I was 5 years older than I was most of the time. And it really, it made me this crazy person when I am with my friends. Like this crazy, outrageous, childlike, playful guy when I'm with my friends, because that's where I can be myself. I didn't feel like I could be myself while I was in the band or at a gig or anything like that. I had to put on this persona that wasn't me, right? But that's why I started doing like comedy YouTube as an example. I feel like it's because I was able to mess around, and I realized like most kids, they waste their time. Like they waste their time watching TV or playing video games, which I did a lot of that. But on the other hand, like a lot of what I did with my friends was just make videos and actually experience things, because I realized like I got to be a kid every now and then at least. So like I really tried to like be a kid as much as possible, because I thought it would kind of fade away. I thought like, oh, I'm going to end up being this boring old person soon, so I'm going to do what I can now. But now that I think about it, that's not how it is. Like it's like 7 years later and I'm still acting the same for the most part. I'm a lot nicer of a person. I have a lot better values, and I'm actually doing things with my life rather than being addicted to video games. But I think being told to grow up all the time really helped me. A blessing in disguise.
What way? In what way? To grow up how?
Oh, no, I hated it. That's why it helped me. Like, they wanted me basically to be mature, to act like a business person. Like, we're in a band. This is a business. Like, you can't be a child. You can't make jokes. You can't mess around. Like, we're serious, right? And I really didn't like that. And I think that's what made me stay the playful person I am now.
I think one of the things that helped me is, I mean, having been a teacher for a long time, I taught high school and then I taught elementary school. There's a playfulness that I brought to my job. I think I got it from my dad. My dad was very playful, especially around kids. And I think because of that, I just kind of took that as part of my life. And I think it's a good thing to have. I especially like this time of year, I look how people are around this time of year. They're happier. They're a little more joyful than they normally are. They tend to be a little bit more playful. They talk with people that are around them more. They converse more. They like to see people. And it would be a cool thing to take that. And I'm not just talking about that Christmas feeling, but take that ease and that comfort that people have this time of year with each other and transfer that to other parts of the year, and transfer that to just kind of being chill all the time. And why not? Why not do that? Why not be more playful, more fun all the time? I mean, you do only get one shot at this. Like, this is the only moment the three of us are going to have together on this right now, talking about this. We'll never have this again, ever. So why not appreciate and experience all that to the best we can?
Mm-hmm.
What do you guys feel about, like, what do you guys think about excitement? And like, is that a good thing or is it a bad thing? Like really, really looking forward to something like crazy. So I remember like that was like the main thing that I can Like that's what I did a lot when I was a kid. I remember my parents bought an aquarium, and like my dad's buddy came over and started talking about fish because we're gonna buy a fish off of him or something like that. And like I just got so excited about fish, and I couldn't sleep that night. I was just so pumped. I didn't want to sleep. I wanted fish. Like I just wanted to like, I don't know. I was just so excited about fish in my fish tank. And that's something that I did a lot as a kid. Was I just like I'd get excited about something, and then I just can't sleep at night because I'm just so pumped about it.
Yeah, I was the same way, exactly the same way. I remember, you know, I would have this calendar counting down to Christmas, and I'd X off the days. And the night before, I would just look out the window. I'd be looking for Rudolph's nose or Santa's sleigh or listening, and I would just be so excited. I just couldn't stand myself.
Yeah. Yeah. That's something that I try to embody more and more. Cameron, you know this. Our cousin Steven, he does this hilarious thing anytime he gets excited. Like, you know when he's excited because he does like this thing.
How old is he?
And then he can't breathe. He's a year older than me. He's got like 3 kids. He's got a family, like, and he's a grown ass man, and he just gets all excited. He's like, it's so funny. But just doing that gets me excited. So I think that's a cool little tip. You know, if you want to get excited, or if you want to induce a certain state of mind, a certain state of body, whatever, put yourself in that situation. Like, notice what you do when you get excited. Like, Steven always does this thing, and then it's like for me personally, I find when I'm getting really excited, it's like I forget to breathe. I'm just like so pumped. You know what I mean? And yeah, even just doing that right now is kind of like mocking myself. Gets me excited. So that's really cool, man.
I remember someone gave me as a gift a bunch of years ago. One of my students gave me Sega Genesis, and I hadn't gotten a game as a gift for so long. I was so excited. I was beside myself that I got a game for Christmas because it made me feel like a kid again. It was so much fun. But now I get a lot of joy out of giving gifts. I get so much joy out of seeing people open a gift that I gave them and get use out of it and enjoy it themselves. It's a lot of fun to do.
All right. So this episode's titled, what was this episode? Bears Asks Us Questions or something like that.
Oh, man. Okay.
So from the crazy mind of Bears.
Bren, what is your favorite moment from this past year? Your number one favorite moment?
Are you serious? Like, that's a real question?
I'm dead serious.
My number one favorite moment from this year. What? Bears, there were so many great moments. I don't even know.
I want one.
Man, I don't even know. Like,
pick one.
Between the TEDx talk, which was an amazing experience, getting able to do that. Releasing my first music video was like just seeing the reception. Like, everybody was super supportive, and like that was an amazing moment to release that and finally get that out there. My birthday this year was actually amazing. It was like one of the best birthday parties I'd ever had. We were at an Implicit jam. Andrea and the whole team got me like a cake shaped like a vegan cake shaped as my logo, as like my musician logo. And so that was an amazing experience. Just like, yeah, man, I feel like this year was a great year for like progress towards my goals, just making big things happen, like getting music out there, getting a chance to speak at TEDx, spending lots of time with great people, meeting lots of great people. Yeah, dude, like I can't even pinpoint one specific great moment. But I'm going to turn this around on you, Bears. What was your favorite moment? I'm asking
the questions, and Cam is the next person I'm asking a question. Cam, what is the most difficult challenge you had this year to overcome?
That's a tough one, dude.
I'm not just here to be another pretty face.
I would say finishing my short film, my 2-part short film. it was tough to get everybody together. Everybody has a different schedule, and it was just a lot of work. And I was really, really, really worried. I think I could have done without the amount of worry that I had going on. But like, yeah, finishing that, getting that done, and getting it done well, and like people enjoying it, like that was the most challenging thing I did this year.
Awesome. Brandon, what was your most difficult challenge that you overcame?
Difficult challenge that I overcame this year. I don't even know, man. Like, completing my record was a huge challenge for me. And it's still not even finished, so it's still a challenge. But like, I keep coming back to that TEDx talk, man. That TEDx talk for me was a big thing for me because it's my first time getting up and speaking in front of a crowd. Well, not my first time getting up and speaking in front of a crowd, because like I perform music, I've played hundreds of stages, thousands of shows. So like getting up and playing music for a crowd is super easy for me. It's just something I know and do. But one of the biggest challenges was getting up there and like speaking my truth, like speaking about me, speaking about my story, my passion, my message, and like not performing any music at all during the whole thing. So that was probably one of the biggest challenges. Also one of the most amazing, fulfilling moments of this year as well, just being able to do all that. But like I've had to overcome, like I've had a lot of personal challenges this year, just with my own coming to terms with like who I am and like what's best for me. Like you guys know that waking up early in the morning has been something I've been challenged. That's been a challenge of mine all year, to like wake up consistently at the same time every day.
Right.
It's just, I don't know what it is, man. It's just like not easy for me to do. So that's been one of my biggest challenges. And then, you know, just being okay with that and finding peace with everything not having to be perfect, because that's something that I've struggled with a lot, is like perfectionism and trying to make everything perfect, attention to every single little stupid detail. Getting over that has been a big challenge.
And how are you getting past it? What are the strategies you're using?
You know what? Like, I'm finding meditation's helping me a lot. Mindfulness, just spending more time letting myself kind of chill, I guess, like giving myself more time to just relax and watch a movie, or giving myself time to relax and just meditate, or just like take my dog to the dog park and just like chill and just sit around and watch. Just giving myself more time for me has helped me kind of let go of all the little details, finding more joy in the present moment rather than always having to achieve something to get joy. Because like I'm like the high achiever type who like I'll beat myself up over and over and over again if I don't do something right, or if I don't complete a project on the right time, or whatever. And so just allowing myself to just not beat myself up, you know, being nicer to myself, finding more self-compassion and self-love. There's been a lot of that this year, so I'm excited to see what next year has in store, though.
And Cam is making me dizzy. I got to say, he's making me dizzy.
Sorry. I'm still in this.
I know, I'm watching, like, at one point, everything was upside down and spinning around.
Just don't look at it.
Now you're like a ghost. It's the whole screen, dude. It's the whole screen.
All right.
Brent, I'll say, like, for me, that's the same challenge you have. Is one of the biggest challenges I have is to understand that downtime is as important to productivity as being productive is. And that was a hard thing for me to accept for a long time. And I would get on myself if I was taking some time for myself, or if there was a day that I didn't do things to move the needle forward. I would really get on myself about it, until I began to understand that time actually gives me the ability to clear my mind, the ability to kind of rest my mind so that I can be more productive when I do have to get those things done, when I do have to sit down and write. Like the last 2 days, I've been sick, and what's today, Friday? So Wednesday morning was the last time I wrote anything for my book, and yesterday I just decided like I needed to rest. I needed to just chill and relax, and that's what I did. I just rested all day long. And the same thing for the first half of today. This is really the first thing I've done today that if you want to call this productive today, I haven't figured that out yet. If this is productive today or not.
Yeah, man. I feel like around January of last year, I was like a monster, man. I was like a machine. It was like I was just constantly getting stuff done. I was working until I was tired, exhausted. And then, even though I'm super productive, super effective, super efficient, I was still beating myself up over what I could have got done.
Right.
And then I think somewhere in the last month or two, I've started to find more balance in terms of allowing myself that downtime, allowing myself time to just to chill, to learn, to think, to
Why do you think
just
that
to
we
be.
do that? Why do we beat ourselves up about that stuff? Why don't we think we deserve that downtime? Why don't you think we feel that we don't deserve the time to ourselves to take away for a moment or a day or a couple of hours?
I don't know, man. I think a lot of it has to do with your own relationship with yourself. I've always, not always, but recently along my journey, I've been thinking more of myself as like I love myself. Like I really am finding self-love. I'm finding more confidence in myself and stuff. But at the same time, I'm still beating myself up here and there. I'm not perfect, which is tough for me sometimes because it's like I want to be perfect. Like I want to be. But getting over that, I think if you have a poor relationship with yourself, if you really hate yourself, or you don't think you're deserving, or you don't think you're worthy of anything, of achievement, of love, of friends, of whatever, that's the biggest thing. Is like it all comes back down to the relationship you have with yourself. That's what I think of every single time. It's like I've noticed personally, anytime I yell at or I snap at or I get angry with somebody else around me, it's usually something actually to do with myself. It's usually something in my own life that I'm not happy with. And then as a result, I snap at the people around me. And so learning that if I could cultivate and work on a better relationship with myself, then everybody around me will be better off because I'm not going to be an asshole anymore. I'm not going to be mean. I'm not going to be, ruthless. Just finding that love for myself has helped me out so much. But I think that's exactly what it is that people are lacking. They just don't think they are worthy. They don't think they're deserving of love, or whatever it is. That's kind of my personal experience.
I also think there's that I don't know if I wouldn't call it a mindset, but there's that thought out there that if you're trying to accomplish something, if you're not doing it all the time, going 24 hours a day, like Eric Thomas says, you have to want it as much as you want to breathe. And that kind of lends itself to think that you've got to be doing it all the time. If you're not doing it all the time, if you're not staying awake all night to get things done, then you're really not after success. And I don't know that that's truly the case. I used to think that was the case, and it would make me beat myself up because I can't handle those kinds of hours. I can't be productive. I stop wanting to do anything. I stop having that desire because it becomes too difficult. So, I need that downtime to rejuvenate and relax a little bit. And I think it comes from that thought out there that you've got, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you've got to go all out at things.
Mm-hmm. Another big thing that I learned this year, I think I learned this on shrooms. I took shrooms one time for the first time, magic mushrooms.
I thought that's what you were saying. Okay.
Yeah, and I did this. My friends have been into it for years, and like they've always been trying to convince me to do it, and I just wasn't into it because I was like, always purist. Like, no, I don't want any drugs, anything other than like, coffee or alcohol. Like that's a good drug. No, it's not. But anyways, on the shroom trip, I realized like I took shrooms with a bunch of friends, and everybody kind of went their own way. Like our plan was everybody is gonna get together and hang out, and we're all gonna have a good experience together. But that's not what happened at all. We took these shrooms, and then like buddy went to the park, another guy went to the mall, like one guy just sat on the couch, and another guy went to the forest. And so everybody like went their separate ways. And so I was kind of, what I was expecting was we were all going to have this experience together, and we were going to learn and grow and learn about ourselves and have this amazing psychedelic experience. But what actually happened was everybody parted ways, and they all went on their own journey. And then I was stuck alone, just having my own journey with myself. And this was really significant for me because it just helped me realize that everybody is on their own journey. Like, as if I didn't know this before. Seriously, it helped me realize that every single person around me is thinking differently. They feel differently. They're living differently. Have different memories and experiences and all these things. They're essentially completely different people living completely different lives. And before this experience, I had felt like almost like everybody should be living the life I'm living. I almost felt like everybody needs to be doing the things I'm doing. If I'm working out consistently, then everybody needs to be working out consistently. If I'm eating healthy food, like healthy vegan food, and I care about my health, then everybody needs to care about their health. And you know, this experience has helped me realize, like, it don't matter what you do, other people are going to do their own thing. And it was tough for me because I've always been like really controlling. Like, think about it in the band Letterbomb, like Cam was saying, I was like the leader of the band, man. I was the one booking the gigs. I was the one writing the songs. I was the one telling everybody when we're going to do band practice. I was the one at band practice telling everybody what part to play, what to do. I was the one, you know, getting the driving situation, getting everything figured out, and I had all this control. And it just led me to feeling like really like a tyrant, almost like a dictator, like you know what I mean? And so I've been able to really let go of my expectation on other people. I used to have high expectations, high standards for how the people around me need to react and how the people around me need to live. And I've just been able to completely let that go and like focus more on myself rather than always worrying about what this guy's doing with his life or what her over there is thinking about this thing, and just so much noise. So yeah, that was a great experience, man. Do shrooms.
I think that's such an important thing. You know, we try to make everyone else conform to the way we think life should work.
Mm-hmm.
And when we do that, it takes energy away from us and it takes energy away from them. It's like everyone's going in opposing directions. Instead of taking your arm, putting it around somebody and say, let's go together. Which way do you want to go? I'll help you get there. And then they want to help you get there, which is what a mastermind is all about, right? It's not about any of us trying to get the other person to do and conform to our way of thinking. It's about helping them achieve the most in their way of thinking and with what they want to do. Like, for example, Cam wants to be this, you know, big time YouTuber with a comedy channel on there. And because of his goal, our goal is to help him do that, whatever we can do to help him do that. And you want to be a musician who shares your passion for personal development and becoming your higher self. You want to do that through your music and through speaking. And we want to do everything we can to help you achieve that goal so you can influence as many people in a positive way as possible. And that's what a mastermind group is all about. And that's what we're all about. When we think that way, then we take off those weights that are around our ankles. And we also don't throw any weights on other people's ankles. Instead, we kind of lighten everyone's load.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even though, you know, I might be taking on some of your load to help you move, it's not making things more, doesn't make things more difficult for me. In a lot of ways, it makes things easier because other people are helping me, and it just makes it easier for all of us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cameron could definitely talk about this. Like, I feel
I want
like
to know what Cameron's doing over there.
Yeah, me too, man.
Interesting stuff.
Cam, what are you doing?
Sitting down.
What else?
Listening to you guys. What's going on?
It's a Q&A episode, Cam.
I know that.
Do you have any sort of experience with like this? Like, because I feel, and you know, I feel like for a little while, it felt like I was trying to live Cameron's life for Cameron. Because
I would say he probably felt that too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, like our father, you know, great guy. He's doing his own thing, being a great dad and all. But I feel like I was a lot closer to Cam growing up, and so I was always like, you know, I'm the older brother, man. I'm learning things. I want to make sure like my younger brother, he gets all these things that I'm learning, and so I get to pass on this knowledge, so that, you know, the next generation up could be even better than my generation. But Cam, how did that kind of like, did that work?
No, not at all. No, I was just like a kid who was addicted to video games, and I felt like it's weird. I have this thing where it has to be like my idea, otherwise I don't want to do it. You know, it's like it's literally. I'm pretty sure everybody kind of has that in the back of their brain. Like you want to do what you want to do for yourself, not for everybody else. Like it's your life, right? And I feel like that's how a lot of people think. But that's how I felt. It's like, yo, why aren't you practicing drums? Why are you playing Call of Duty? Like, go practice drums. We got a gig soon. You got to be ready. And I just felt like I was in the band for you, not for me, you know. And I didn't really want to be in the band. I wanted to do stupid YouTube videos with my buddy. And even then, you were just like, yo, quit doing these stupid YouTube videos with your buddy. And we got to go on a tour soon. I was just like, that's not what my life's about, man. And when I quit the band, for the first time since grade 4, I was in grade 11 at the time. For the first time since grade 4, I was free. Like I felt like there was a weight off of my shoulders. Like nobody was controlling me anymore. I'm a kid. I live with my parents. I could do whatever I want. Like I just like ultimate freedom. It was unbelievable. And yeah, like that's basically how I felt.
Sometimes I feel like I'm talking to the Partridge Family.
Yeah, like
I
actually.
don't know what that.
Do you know who the Partridge Family is?
No.
There was this TV show about this family called the Partridge Family, and they all had a band together.
Oh,
And
seriously?
the youngest kid played the drums.
Really?
Yeah. And David
actually
Cassidy,
funny.
who was the oldest brother, he was the singer and songwriter and all that kind of stuff. So that's Brent.
Oh my God, it's our lives, Cameron. We're a show, dude. Did you know this?
Well, I knew our life was as exciting as a show, anyways. Seriously, I've been saying that for a long time. Just like, why isn't my life a show? Because we've done so many crazy
Yes.
things and been through so many funny like experiences.
Why am I not a movie?
This is a show right now.
You know, there's something you said there, Cam, that I think was a really interesting point. You said how you have trouble doing things when it's not your idea. And I mean,
Yeah.
I remember hearing Tony Robbins talk about this too. He was, I'm not sure if you guys have ever seen the video. It's a really popular video of Tony Robbins helping this guy. I mean, this guy was stuttering for pretty much his entire life. He had this stutter, since he was a young child. And Tony Robbins helped this guy basically get rid of the stutter in about an hour, maybe less than an hour. I think the video is like Tony Robbins saves this guy's stutter in 7 minutes or something like that. But like maybe it was like an hour. And basically, I think it was like a week, 2 weeks, maybe a month or two after that incident. And this guy was completely cured of this stutter. I mean, he didn't have it anymore. He felt confident. He had a whole new level of confidence. But part of him inside, I think it was his wife or somebody who mentioned it, part of him was trying to go back to the stutter, because what happened was it was Tony Robbins who created that change. It wasn't him who created the change, right? It was like Tony Robbins came around and saved me, or Tony Robbins came around and changed me. And so it wasn't his idea, rather it was somebody else's idea. And so he was kind of resisting it. He was kind of going against, even though this was an amazing thing that was completely changing his life and it was like really, really good for him, he was still, part of him, maybe is it part of his ego, part of him was upset because, you know, man, Tony Robbins came around and changed my life in an hour. How come I couldn't do that over the past 30 years? And so part of him like just completely resisted that idea. I've always found that really interesting how, like, for example, you tell somebody to do something and there's like this pushback, but you ask somebody a question and it's like a whole different approach. It's like all of a sudden they have the decision. All of a sudden the floor is theirs to make the call. I've always found that super interesting. You guys ever notice that?
This just got really, really, really deep. Really deep. So I've been reading this book about how to have your self-conscious work in a positive way. How to feed your subconscious the right information so that you can make the right changes in your life that you want to make. And one of the things they talk about in this book is it's written by this gentleman who's a plastic surgeon. And the reason he wrote the book and went on this mission of discovery about it was because he would give people the surgery that they wanted, the plastic surgery to their face that they wanted, and they looked amazing, but they would still feel they looked bad. they look in the mirror and say that they still look bad, and they didn't. They looked amazing. And the reason was because they still felt themselves that they were that person that was inside, because they didn't make any changes. Someone else made these changes on the outside for them, but the inside changes were never made. And I think that speaks a lot to what you were just talking about, where you try to get someone to do something. Tony Robbins got this guy to get rid of his stutter, but Tony Robbins did it. The guy didn't make the change. Someone else made the change. So who he was on the inside hadn't changed yet. And that subconscious was saying, no, you're still a stutterer. That you didn't accomplish that. Somebody else did that for you. You're still not good enough to not have a stutter. You still have a stutter. You're still someone who stutters. Start stuttering.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's where it comes from. I never really thought about it at that level where, we try to convince someone to do something and they resist, or they go back to that same place. They might do it for a little while, but then they resist and they end up going back to that same place that they were before. And it's because they didn't change. You changed something for them, but they didn't do it. So who they were was never changed. It was never a new person on the outside or a new person on the inside, because you've got to change from the inside out.
Yeah, man, and that's got to be a tough conflict to resolve, considering, like, if you're trying to, like, for example, one of my biggest things that I've been trying to do is wake up early. I mean, honestly, over the past 2 weeks, I haven't really tried all that hard. I kind of just gave up on the goal and just started just living life. But, it's different. It was like when Cam was here living with me and he would wake me up, I'd get like super pissed. I'd be like, bro, like, don't wake me up right now. Like, bro, leave me alone. Like, I want to sleep. Stop it. Right. But then when I'm completely alone, it's like this whole other level of motivation or drive. It's this whole other push towards the goal. Because I'm on my own. I don't know. It's such an interesting topic, man. I don't even know where to go with it.
I'm the exact same way. I do not like anyone telling me what to do. I remember when I first started teaching high school, there was a gentleman who'd been there for 19 years before me. And then I came in and I was this 24-year-old kid. And there were people who were, around a few years, parents and kids who had been around for a while. And they all felt like it was their turn to influence what the band did. But it was mine. I was the person being paid. It was my name that was on this deal. And if it failed, it was on me. If it succeeded, it was on me. So it was this battle in the beginning because I was young and I looked at 24. I literally looked like Cam. I mean, I looked super young. I looked like I was 18. I remember one of my first days teaching high school, someone stopped me. I was on the way to the cafeteria because I had cafeteria duty to monitor these high school kids. And someone asked me, "Can I help you? Do you have a hall pass?" I said, "No, I work here." It was this strange thing that was going on at the time, but I didn't like anyone telling me what to do. And maybe that's stubbornness, maybe that's a lack of being open, but I also think it's seated in the desire to be able to accomplish things ourselves and being able to I don't want to say take credit but for having it be our authentic self rather than just going along for the ride. I don't want to go along for the ride. I want to be a change agent. I want to be the person who had the influence. I don't want to be the person who just happened to be there when it happened.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cam, tell us, I'm super curious about like your take on this, man.
On wanting to make your own decisions, basically.
If you want to basically like that, yeah, sure.
That's kind of basically what it is. Like you just want I like what Bear just said. It's basically like it's rooted in like the desire for freedom, and like and freedom basically means you can do what you want when you want. You can accomplish what you want when you want to accomplish it. You can eat what you want when you want to eat it. Like what book was it? I think I have it somewhere, not in this room. It's called The Motivation Manifesto by Brendan Burchard.
Yeah.
Okay. I enjoyed it a little bit, but he's got a copy of it. There it is. Yeah. Good. It's a pretty good book. And
what other book do you want me to pull out?
He basically talks about how freedom is like the desire for any human being. Like if you want to be happy, that's just freedom from negative emotions, you know? If you want anything, it's just you basically want freedom. So that's kind of what that means.
Mm-hmm. I find that super interesting, man. One of the things that I've been looking up recently, or have been kind of diving into, is religion. I grew up in Catholic school. I absolutely hated it. I hated the people teaching me. I didn't like the priests, or they were just so mean. I remember in grade 8, they told me I would literally go to hell because I missed 1 week of church. I was like, I didn't go to church last Sunday or the Sunday before. But I might go this Sunday. Is that cool? And they're like, no, you're screwed. You're already going to hell. Like it's done for you.
So why come back?
Yeah, like I don't even know. So I was not really into religion. I always had this kind of negative association with it because it basically rejected me. It basically told me like, no matter what you do, it's too late. You already screwed it all up. You're going to hell. But I've been looking up different religions like Hinduism, Buddhism. There's another one called Jainism, which is super cool. It's basically like the most peaceful religion in the world. They're ridiculous. But the ideologies, the different philosophies that these religions have, I find super interesting. And like, I mean, basically, I don't know if you guys are super religious, but basically what I do is I kind of make up my own religion in life. Like I take different things, like even from personal development material, like something Wayne Dyer says, and if it really makes sense to me, I adopt it. Something Eric Thomas says, if it really makes sense to me, I adopt it. Something Bears says, if it really makes sense to me, I adopt it. And all those things kind of become my religion.
Wayne Dyer, Eric Thomas, and Bears. I like that. That's pretty decent company.
Yeah, it is. So I've always kind of
like lions and tigers and bears.
Yes.
Oh my.
Yes. But yeah, man. So that's been a super empowering philosophy for me in life, is to just, instead of following a certain religion and just blindly accepting everything that religion says, or that political view says, or that group or whatever says, I kind of just want to create my own thing. Like, just my life is basically just a big cluster of different experiences and different lessons learned. And so I basically create my own religion based on that. I used to wear a t-shirt to school called "Music is my religion," and the teachers hated it. They were like, What? You come to Catholic school with a shirt like that? What? And Cameron goes to a school that says, I farted, deal with it. Right, Cam?
Yeah, dude, that was like my favorite shirt, and the guy made me put it inside out. But you know what? To be fair, it's because I actually farted in class a lot, and that shirt was basically me bragging about it, and like, yeah.
All right, that seals it. Cam, you're sleeping in the Jeep. So Brent, to kind of tag on to what you were talking about, like when you were talking about Wayne Dyer, right before you said that, I was thinking about a lot of the things he talks about, and when he talks about energy and how we're all energy, that made so much sense to me, more sense than anything, because everything else seemed almost made up to me, and I would always try to wrap my head around it. But when he said we're all energy, and just in different forms, and we're an extension of I forget what term he uses for God, the source. We're just an extension of the source with our energy, and that made so much sense to me. And to this day, like, to me, that's I always feel like religions, that people, all the different religions are just ways for people to understand. It's a way to make it tangible. It's a way to put it into a language or a format that they can understand. And I think whatever part of that higher being that we're all a part of, whatever format that makes sense to you in, is what you should embrace. And to me, it's the idea. I'm dying to know what Cam is doing. Are you going to put that on a carrier pigeon and send it to me?
No, these are notes. I'm taking notes, dude. I just basically I want to create like this hat or something, like a box where I pull out like a lesson every day, and I kind of live by that.
Okay.
And I want to have like hundreds of lessons, so I'm writing it all down.
Okay. I was just curious what I kept seeing you writing and rolling things up, and first I thought, like, we got Brent talking about shrooms, and I thought maybe you were rolling a joint. I didn't know what was going on.
They don't call us the Doobie Brothers for nothing.
I know.
That is good.
Oh,
Yeah, so
go ahead.
that's kind of where my mind is with all that stuff. And I don't know. We had a hard time focusing today, didn't we?
Hey man, we had technical difficulties getting on here, and then there was like a bunch of piss talk before anything. Like you guys don't even need to know. But anyways, yeah, we should definitely wrap this up. It's been a fun day. I love these Fridays where we just get together, kind of shoot the shit, talk mastermind, talk about what's going on in our lives, what we're learning right now.
Can I say something before we end?
Yeah.
Hopefully people hung on this long. We've been on for about 45 minutes, maybe something like that so far. And I got to tell you guys, one of the significant things that I did in 2016 was join a mastermind group. And this is one of the, and I'm in several now, and this is one of the masterminds I'm in. And since doing that, my life has changed dramatically. Financially, it's changed. Health-wise, it's changed. Mindset has changed. Everything has changed and grown exponentially, all due to being a part of a mastermind. So you're in the right place. If you're in this Facebook group, you are in the right place. And I want to encourage you to participate more, post more, talk with people more, engage with people more, meet some more people, and just blow it the heck up. We can do so much more together than we can do alone. One of my favorite people when I was a kid, I used to study John F. Kennedy, and I think it's interesting that one of his quotes has become my favorite quote, and I didn't know it was his until about a year ago, and it goes like this: "A rising tide lifts all ships." And many times we want to say, "This is mine, and no one else can have it," and we get really possessive about life and the things that we're accomplishing. But when we open up our arms and share with other people, we can get so much more done together than we could possibly ever get done by ourselves. So rising tide lifts all ships, and that's what the mastermind group is all about. And I appreciate both of you guys. We're heading into the end of the year, and 3 months ago, I didn't even know you guys, and now I almost feel like we're family, which is a really cool thing. I'm a little suspect of Cam right now, but
with good reason.
No. Do your research. Do your research.
The link is in the description.
All right. Well, I'm going to roll the outro. Just kidding. I'm doing the show today, not Cameron, and I don't have an intro. So, or outro. An intro or an outro. I don't have either of those. All I've got for you guys. Yes, please sing for me. All I've got for you guys is love, compassion, motivation, inspiration, transformation. Go out there today. Enjoy your holidays. This is going to be an awesome weekend. You guys keep singing. We'll just sing our way out of the podcast.